Heyo everybody, Haku here with part 1 of my top 25 Tower of God characters. A video I've been wanting to do again for forever, because the last time I did this video was in 2016, and so much has happened in the past 4 years of Tower of God that my opinions have kind of totally changed. Comparing this list to my list from 4 years ago, it's so extremely different. It's crazy. So I'm splitting this into two parts. This first part will be places 25 through 11, plus some honorable mentions that I'll just run through really quick. I won't put their pictures up on the screen or anything, but there were a few characters that I thought I should at least mention that aren't on the list. So I'll go through my 25 through 11 here, and then in a separate second video, you'll get the top 10. I'm doing it like that just because, I don't know, some people just like to see the top 10, and this is kind of the extra video if you want it. And also because this is the way I did it 4 years ago, and I kind of thought it'd be fun to sort of do a similar thing. So, yeah, really quick before I get into those top 25, my honorable mentions. So first up, there are two characters that I took my notes, and then I thought about these characters some more, and I'm like, I really don't know if I'm underrating them. Maybe I like them more than I think I like them, but maybe they should be on the list. I'm not sure. And those two characters are Beta and Jaja. I really like Jaja, and I really like Beta, but I didn't put them in the top 25, and I don't know if I should have, because I do really like them, but I don't know if I really like them that much. Two more honorable mentions I wanted to throw out were Kalavon and Rachel. Now, I love Kalavon and Rachel as villains, but I didn't really put them in the top 25 because I don't really think of them as favorites. Like, I love their characters, but I kind of love to hate them, you know? I think Kalavon's a great villain. I think Rachel is a great villain. But I don't really consider them favorites, so they're not on the list. Another honorable mention, I guess, the last one, is Daniel Hatchet. I love Daniel, and he was number 3 in my 2016 list, because we were like right there. We had just finished Revolution Road, we were getting into the stuff on the train, and he was really important and really cool at the time, and now he's kind of out of the story. I don't think we'll ever see him again, really. Would it be cool if when we get like Boro and Sachi back, if Akka and Daniel are with them? That would be super cool. But I don't really see it happening. I don't know if we'll ever see him again, so he didn't really make the top 25 because he just fell so many places from not really being in the story for so long. But yeah, that is it. Those were all of my honorable mentions, and now it's time to get into the actual list proper. Number 25 is Jordan. I am so excited to put him in my top 25. I love Jordan already, even though he's a really recent addition to the cast. And honestly, we haven't seen him that much. I freaking love Jordan. He's so funny. It always makes me smile whenever he's doing the Yama worship. The Yama worship is so good. His comedy bits are great. I like that he catches W's constantly. He was with Bomb taking out that one ranker. He destroyed the bomb that was supposed to like kill everybody or whatever that was holding Yama at bay. He took down, what was it? Was it Tall was the one that he fought? He took down Tall. He catches constant W's. Even, I'm currently right now he's captured by Yusracha's group, but the fact that he wasn't killed, that's W enough. So yeah, I love him. I hope we see a lot more once he comes back into the story. I hope he doesn't get killed off. So yeah, currently Jordan has already made my top 25. Number 24 is Boro. So I liked Boro a lot when he was first introduced in Helltrain, and through the first few arcs of Helltrain, he was really, really cool, especially the stuff with him and Joaquin, where Joaquin was pissed that he had, like, sort of avoided his blade before, and the scar came from Joaquin. All of that was really, really cool to me. I didn't like it as much when his character kind of became randomly comic relief, and it felt like it changed a lot. It felt like before he was this veteran who knew all these things. He was almost like an advisor to Bomb, who was kind of guiding him along with some wisdom on the Hell Train, and then all of a sudden he became comic relief around maybe Name Hunt Station or the Floor of Death, but either way, it ended up fine enough that I still like him. He maybe should be higher on the list if he hadn't become weirdly comic relief, but I still like his character a lot, and I hope we get to see cool things from him and Sachi in the future whenever they come back. So yeah, Boro still is among my favorite characters out of all the bazillion characters in this series. 23rd place is Wangnan, my boy Wangnan. So Wangnan I loved all throughout, everything leading up to Hell Train. I thought that he was one of the best characters, and he was basically secondary main character. He had like one of the sort of highest sort of screen time scores in my screen time notes that I'm taking for another video when it comes to Return of the Prince and Workshop Battle. But then in Hell Train, he kind of fell from his secondary main character status. We saw a lot less of him. The stuff we did see of Wangnan, though, I still really liked. I still thought Wangnan was a really, really good character throughout Hell Train. I just wish we saw him more, and I wish his level of importance was kept up. But other than that, I still like Wangnan a lot. Enough to keep him in the top 25, but you know, he's at 23, he's kind of barely in there. There's a lot of really, really good characters. 22nd place on my list is Arielle Belda / the White Clone. A lot of people get sort of mad when I call her Albelda all the time, but I'm gonna keep calling her Albelda just because, I mean, she basically is Albelda just with all these other souls fused in. Plus, a lot of the characters still call her Albelda. But not only is she best girl, I always say that she's top waifu for me, but I really liked her, like, sort of teaming up with Team Bomb for a while. I liked that. And now I really like, I hope we get to see her more. I really want to see her more in her Jiminy Cricket gimmick. I love that. I love that she's basically White's conscience, his Jiminy Cricket. I love this. So yeah, I want to see more of her in that role, but I like her character in general. She's just a character that not only her physical appearance or design looks awesome to me, but I don't know, I like her character a lot. It's one of those things where I don't have as much a logical reason for liking her as I do some other characters, but I still just absolutely love every time she's on the screen. And she isn't even the highest rated character because of that reason. There are some characters that are like insanely high up on this list that I'm like, I can't really explain why I like them so much, but I really like this character. So that's where I am with Albelda. I friggin' love her. Best girl, waifu, top tier, number 22. My 21st place character is Fonzo Callaway, our sleepy boy, Fonzo Callaway. I feel like he hasn't had a lot of screen time lately, but that doesn't really stop me from liking him as much as I do, because he was great in Season 1. He was a character that I loved in the first season, and it feels like he doesn't really hurt as much as some other characters from lack of screen time. Some other characters, it's like, man, their lack of screen time really harms their standing, but with Lorray, it's like, he can go a long time without any screen time, and when he shows up, he can still be hype, he can still be mysterious, it still works for him. So I really like him still. I feel like even though we haven't seen him do much in a long, long time, he could just show up and do something important at any moment, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm all for it. It feels like he never left. So yeah, he's a character that doesn't suffer as much from that, in my opinion. But yeah, still like him enough. Almost top 20. But let's see who does make top 20. Number 20 is Novik. I've always loved Novik. I've loved his design from the beginning, and he's a character that I root for. You know how you get these characters where you're just like, I want this character to win fights, I want this character to get screen time? That's been me with Novik. I've always really rooted for him. I'm like, Ron is so overrated, I want Novik. So yeah, I love his character. He's another character we haven't seen a ton lately, but it doesn't really matter in terms of him just still being a great character. So yeah, also another thing that I really loved with him was his role in Workshop Battle, especially his dynamic with Horyang, with Bomb / Viol especially. I love his relationship with Viol all throughout Workshop Battle. It's so good. And when he and Waryun and Horyang were going to save Viol, it was so good. It was so cool. I honestly loved all of that when I was reading it week to week, and it's just sort of cemented Novik in my heart as one of my personal favorites. In 19th place, mega spoilers for this entry, is Zack Raptor. Zack Raptor is a character that's so good that even though he's not with us in the story anymore, I'm still like the most hyped for his storyline. His storyline is one of my favorites. I want to know more about his daughter and what happened with her and see things from her perspective. And we got that little bit of hint in early season 3 that I don't know why she'd be working with FUG. I think it would make for a better story if Wangnan was trying to like sort of save her or tell her about her father and she was working with the princesses and with Sahard, but you know, it is what it is. I'm just excited for his storyline. I thought he was so cool. I loved his design from the beginning, and he was another character that I kind of felt like with Novik, where I was always rooting for him to succeed and get screen time and do cool things. So yeah, Zack Raptor is still one of my absolute favorites, even though I don't really, we're not going to see him again in the story, very much most likely, he still deserves a spot in my top 25. In 18th place is Ed Dan. So Dan hasn't done much in a while, but he's still one of my favorites because his stuff with Rachel at the end of the Devil the Right Arm arc, where he basically tells her to screw off, is still one of the hypest moments in the series for me, and it's not just that carries him, but his overall character, his role in the story, he to me feels very relatable in an Usopp sort of way, where you as a person can sort of relate to how we would feel in this fantasy world, and I really, really like that. I also, again, he's one of those characters like the last two that I just want more for. I want him to get some W's. I want him to get more screen time. I want a lot more for Ed and Dan. But yeah, I like him a lot. It's mostly based on the Rachel stuff though, honestly, but his character in general is just one that I really, really enjoy. Now, he's not nearly as high on the list as he was for me 4 years ago, because not only has he not done much, but there's so many amazing new characters, or characters who have gotten really great new development, but still, I really love him as one of my favorite characters. Number 17 is one that I can see a lot of people complaining about, but it's Kunaguero Agnes. And a lot of people aren't going to be happy with how low he is on the list, but he's still one of my favorite characters, and I've got nothing but positive things to say. I think he's written so well in his relationship with Bomb as the main character. I don't want to call him the best friend, but there's always that spot in most shonens where the main character's best friend is in there, and Kun is written so well in that sort of role in the story. Also, I feel like, just in general, he's a very likable character. It's I don't really know many people who don't like Kunaguero Agnes. So, yeah, he's undeniably likable. It's just, to me, he's this low on the list because there are times when, as much as I love him, there are other characters who I'm okay, I really want more development for them. I really want more screen time for them. And most of the time with Kun AA, I'm yeah, he gets plenty of screen time. He gets plenty of development. So it's one of those things where, as much as I love him, there are just these other characters that I'm really, really rooting for, where I'm I would rather see a really good scene with these other characters than a really good scene with Kunaguero Agnes. So as much as he is my favorite, there are others that I guess just speak to me even more. Number 16 is Hatsu. Look at this saucy boy. I love his design. It's so good. I love his rivalry with Kun. I love the recent development he's been getting with how he was sort of going through this swordsmanship stuff with White. That was really cool. And I'm putting him just above Kunaguero Agnes because in their rivalry, he's one of those characters. Whenever they're fighting or something, I'm yeah, screw the blue turtle. Screw earrings. Hatsu needs to win. He needs to get some feats. He needs to get more screen time. So I love him and Kunaguero Agnes almost equally, but I give a little bit of an edge to Hatsu here just because I didn't really notice until like they sort of started fighting with one another at Name Hunt Station, but I was like, you know what? I want Hatsu to win. And that's sort of what made me realize, wow, I think I like him a little bit more than I do Kun. So yeah, Hatsu's one of the best, has been from like the beginning. 15th place is a character that again I've liked from like the beginning of the series, Rodo. So Rodo, I love his design. It looks especially nice with the updated art style rather than like the giant thighs-ish kind of look at the very beginning. But I like his design. I like his teacher-like role a lot. I thought he was great in Workshop Battle, and I'm really, really excited to see more of him with Wall Hike Song and what CU does with that storyline. I'm really excited for that. So, yeah, number 15, I really, really enjoy Rodo. Number 14 is a very new character, Kel Hallam. Now, Kel Hallam is so high up on this list because I love his powers. His design's pretty good too, but just the hype around, he took on Yama and Evankel at the same time. He had like city-sized attacks going on. He has the power of an ancient. This man rolled up on freaking King Zahard himself, one of the only people that we know to have ever done that pretty much. It's so cool, even though he lost. But still, he's so cool, and I love his role in the story as this person who has so much power, but mentally can't bring himself to face Zahard because of what's happened. I love that so much. Where Zahard pretty much said, let me take one of the strongest guys FUG has, put him in his place by killing or capturing all of his allies, and then he'll go back to FUG if I let him go, and he'll tell them, yo, we can't attack Zahard, he's too powerful. So he's basically used Kel Hallam to dissuade FUG from attacking him all these years by planting this guy as one of their strongest guys who was like, yeah, no, we can't beat him. He is too overwhelmingly powerful. I love that. I love his role in the story as this person who is part of the reason why FUG hasn't been going crazy, doing more visible attacks and stuff, because he's afraid to fight so hard. Because he is one of the few people that knows exactly how strong Zahard is, or can be. So that's so cool. Kel Hallam has such a cool role in the story. I love his character already. And I hope we get to see him maybe overcome his fear. Or, I don't know, he's one of the few people that can see fate that we've seen. He's just awesome. I really love Kel Hallam. And I hope we get to see more of him in some sort of capacity. Number 13 is Shibisu, a character that a lot of us, would probably have in our favorite characters list. I love this design of him that I am going to be putting up on screen here, where I think it's from Workshop Battle, or maybe the like Devil of the Right Arm when we get to see him with his team. I love that design for him. Or no, he was wearing that at the beginning of Workshop Battle. So I love this design for him, but his character as a whole, I really respect it. What I love is that he has all this strategy, all these brains, but he's not cruel or evil. He's a genuinely good guy at heart who can't really do some of the sort of smarmier things that Kunaguro Agnes can do, but he's like just as smart in his own way, and I love that. So yeah, I love that his character is like this really smart but really respectable guy. I like that a lot. In 12th place is Forever Princess Andrasi Zahard. So I really liked Andrasi in Season 1 and earlier in the series. I thought that people kind of overrated her. Like, everybody seemed to have her in like the top 5, and I'm like, I don't like her that much, but I do like her as a character. But then we got Hidden Floor. Hidden Floor, more of her backstory, so much development with her character. It was incredible. Hidden Floor took me from being like, I like Andrasi, but she's overrated, to no, Andrasi is one of the best ever, period. I love it. I almost wanted to put her in the top 10, but there are just other characters that kind of pushed her out of the top 10. So that's why she ended up here, but I love it. I also love her training with Misang. That was really cool, where they developed their powers and stuff after the Hidden Floor arc, before we got to Last Station. And I loved her and Misang were like the only two allies to go out there in this battlefield full of rankers with Bomb fighting alongside him. I love it. So, yeah, Andrasi is an amazing character. Has been from Season 1, but it really wasn't until Hidden Floor that I started absolutely loving her character. Number 11 for me is sadly my number 1 from 4 years ago. When I made this video 4 years ago, I had Anak Zahard at number 1, my favorite character in the entire series. She absolutely, if I go back and read Season 1, or even watching the anime again, she carries Season 1 for me. Anak absolutely carries Season 1. As good as Season 1 is for other characters like Bomb, Kun, Rak, she carries the entire season for me. I love her role there, and she is so, so important to the story. And then, in these past 4 years, she has not done a single thing since 2016. Since before then, since Workshop Battle at like 2014, 2015, she has not done a single thing. We have seen her make cameos like 2 or 3 times, and that's it. We've barely seen her make cameos, let alone do anything. It's an absolute travesty to me. It is a travesty that this character, who was so central to the story, who was so important, who was so amazing in Season 1, and even was great in Workshop Battle, has had nothing at all in the past 4 years. So we're bound to get more arcs with her. She's bound to be important when we get more into the princess stuff. So I still hold out hope. But man, I just don't get how little screen time she has had. I really think she should have gone with Andrasi after Name Hunt Station when Andrasi joins up with the main team. I really feel like she should have too. I don't know. That would have helped, I think. But just the fact that she hasn't done anything at all in 4 years, it's insanity. So yeah. Wow, my favorite character has dropped to number 11 and is no longer my favorite character, because we just haven't seen anything from her in so long. And actually, because I love her character so much, I'm going to leave her up here on screen as I end this video. So yeah, that was number 25 through 11. Man, geez. I love all these characters, but I'm just still stuck on this Anak stuff now. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. The top 10 will be up in a separate video, like right after this, so expect it same day, not too long afterward. I'm excited to do the top 10. I'm going to record it directly after this. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, comment down there to tell me what you think of my favorites so far. What are your favorites so far? Or any thoughts on anything else. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, ask and I'll give you one. And if you would like to help support the channel on Patreon to help me keep making more videos, it's patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description. But that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.